and welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Shea and I'm an American living in Bologna, Italy. If you've been learning Italian for a while, you know that textbooks can only take you so far. And after living in Italy for over 3.5 years, I've picked up some words and expressions that I hear Italian native speakers commonly use, and I want to share them with you today. So here are 11 Italian phrases and expressions that I hear all the time and what they actually mean. Number 1 is figurati. This means don't worry about it, no problem, of course. For example, if someone says thank you for helping them, thank you for whatever, you can say figurati. It's pretty casual, it just kind of means like, don't mention it. So it's used when someone thanks you or apologizes to you, and it's something you can say that sounds a little bit more native and natural than just prego. The second one is cioè. It can be used in a sense of I mean, or to clarify what you just said, or a lot of Italians say it like cioè, and it means like, just like in English. So for example, you're saying something you want to clarify, you can say cioè, non è che non mi piace, ma preferisco qualcos'altro. That is a way to use it in saying I mean, or to clarify what you just said previously. But you might also hear a lot of Italians saying cioè, because it's used the same way that we use like in English. I remember when I had a friend visiting here and she went out on her own one night and she said, I kept hearing Italians saying cioè, cioè, cioè all the time. And she was like, what does that mean? So if you've heard this sound, it means like. It's basically just a natural filler word and you'll hear it all the time, and now you know that it means like. Number 3 is insomma. This, depending on the tone, can have slightly different meanings, but it can mean basically, kind of like a neutral example would be if someone asks you, come è andata la giornata? And you say, insomma, non benissimo. It's kind of like, not great. You can also use it to summarize something. When someone says, come è andata la giornata, you can say, insomma, alla fine siamo rimasti a casa. That means, so basically, we ended up staying at home. You can use it to basically sum up an experience. If someone asks you, how was your vacation? How was your trip? Insomma, è stata una bella vacanza. In short, basically, it was a nice vacation. Number 4 is ci mancherebbe. I remember when I first heard this and I didn't understand what it meant, because when you think of the literal translation, I was like, what does this mean? The literal translation is basically that would be missing. So in my head, it was not clicking. It means, of course, no problem, it's the least I could do kind of thing. So for example, if someone says, ti dispiace se ti chiedo un favore? You could say, ma ci mancherebbe. Of course not, don't worry about it. It's very reassuring to someone that there's no problem at all, or showing like generosity. Number 5 is magari. This literally means maybe, but you can use it in different ways. So it can be kind of a desire, so you can use it to say, I wish, or if only. You can use it with uncertainty, so it means more like maybe. For example, someone asks, ti piacerebbe vivere in Italia? You could say magari, is like, I wish. But if it's used to mean maybe, an example could be magari domani andiamo al mare. So it could also kind of be like the same way you would use forse. Number 6 is ma che. Ma che is like, no way, what are you talking about? Of course not. So it's like it's a word that you would use to react to something else. Let's say you're out and your friend seems bored or something and you say, sei stanco? And they say, ma che, sto benissimo. Of course not, I'm not tired, I'm great. So you kind of say it like that. It's funny. I hear it a lot here and I thought it was really funny the first time I heard it. It's a very expressive word. So it definitely has a little bit more of drama attached to it. Another thing that I love hearing and love to say is no vabbè. So number 7 is no vabbè. It expresses shock, disbelief, a strong reaction in general. It's kind of like, no way, stop, or something super cute. You see a super cute dog and you're like, no vabbè, che carino, something like that. Or I've said this before, like you walk into a hotel room and it has a super nice view, you go to the window and you're like, no vabbè. I love this. I like open up social media, there's a crazy news story, someone broke up, no vabbè. It's great. It's the perfect phrase to use if you're like gossiping or something. Number 8 is per forza. This means of course. It has a little bit of a tone that's like something obvious or inevitable. So you can kind of use it on its own, but you can also use it in the sentence. Se non mangi, per forza avrai fame. If you don't eat, of course you'll be hungry. But you can also kind of use it by itself. If someone asks you, I don't know, for example, if my boyfriend asked me if I want to do something or go somewhere, maybe I was like, oh, I'm kind of tired tonight, and he's like, well, do you still want to go to the restaurant? I'll say like, per forza, like, of course I do. Per forza voglio andare. Yeah, obviously I want to go. Okay, number 9 is un botto. I wasn't quite sure if it's I think it's used all over Italy. I don't think it's just particular to this region. Sometimes I never know what's slang and what's like actually used all over Italy. But un botto is a slang word for a ton or a lot. And I hear it all the time. C'era un botto di gente. Wherever you're at, like if you're at a party, c'era un botto di gente alla festa, or c'era un botto di gente in supermercato oggi. C'era un botto, it's like there's a ton of people, there's a lot. More slang, more natural, instead of saying ci sono molte persone or c'era molta gente. It's like to change, instead of always using molto, you can say un botto, and it makes you seem a little bit more like a native. It's very informal. I think it's only really used by younger people. And yeah, it just means a ton or a lot. Number 10 is un tipo or una tipa. It's basically a more slang or informal way, instead of saying the woman or the guy or un ragazzo, una donna, un uomo. It's like you wouldn't, when you're telling a story in English and you say, oh, today I saw this guy, you wouldn't really say, today I saw this man. I mean, in some cases you would, but if you're just informally telling a story and you're like, this guy came up to me, you would use un tipo in this sense. I remember I was telling my boyfriend about the nice woman who worked at this cafe that I went to, and I was like, la tipa che lavorava lì, instead of saying la ragazza, another way to sound a little bit more native. And finally, number 11 is mi fa. Mi fa, okay, so there's different ways to use this. So first, it's like a way that you can show what someone does or says to you when you're telling a story in English and you're saying, and then he goes to me, and then he goes, and then I go, to share that it's something you said, you know what I mean? For example, I was talking to my friend the other day and he goes, did you hear that Jennifer broke up with John? And then I go, oh my God, no, what are you talking about? That is when you would use mi fa. So let's say you're telling a story and there's this guy who comes up to you and you say, lui mi fa, dai, vieni con me. Instead of saying mi dice, it's to change it. It just flows a little bit better, just like we say he goes or I go in English. So it kind of works like that. It's just like a way that I noticed a lot of Italians explain something when they're telling a story about what someone said, and I started to pick it up and I was like, oh, because at first I didn't understand, what do you mean mi fa? I was like, he does, he makes. But then I was like, oh, I realize that's how it's translated. But there's also a construction that also confused me at first, is mi fa and then like a verb. So mi fa ridere is it makes me laugh. Mi fa impazzire. This, be careful, because it makes me crazy is more of like a good thing. Like if you say, oh, did you like this restaurant? Non mi fa impazzire is like, I wasn't crazy about it. Not, it drives me crazy in a bad way. Also, mi fa male la testa. It hurts me, basically, is like, that's the construction you use. So that's used in a different way, but it's also very common. Did you learn any new words? Did you know any of these before? And which ones will you start incorporating into your Italian vocabulary? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it and sharing some of this fun Italian knowledge with you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos about learning Italian, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!